Hi everybody. This video is going to be on how to assemble the box. It gets a little, there's a few things that you have to be aware of. Probably the first thing is that as much as might be problematical for some of you, you really need a press to do this. You could try and weight the shells down to get them to adhere to the case, but you're going to be fighting yourself quite a bit. This is the press that we're going to use for these boxes. This is a pretty good sized press. It's about 18 inches, maybe 12 by 18 inches. It's got about 4 or 5 inches of daylight. I have a pressing board in here, which is going to be where the box is going to sit in the meanwhile. Unfortunately, that's all I can say. You need a press. If you find good workarounds, share them with other practitioners. Otherwise, this is how you do it when you have the tools. Okay, so what I have here is one box. We'll see how this is going to work. I have the shells inside. They're not adhered. Now this is the orientation. The outer shell goes on the front. The inner shell goes on the back. The one thing that's nice to know is that you can use the inner shell to help press the outer shell first, and then do the inner shell afterwards, because you need packing on these guys so that the press will work. So what I have here is the inner shell and the outer shell together, and then these are my boards that will go, this whole thing will go in the press, and this will distribute the pressure evenly. Okay, and once the front shell is on, then we're going to apply adhesive to this, lay it in correctly, close it, flip it over, put the packing back in, throw it back in the press. Okay, so at this stage, with the packing board's out of the way, I have PVA and a big brush, and I'm going to get ready and adhere the outer shell of this box. Okay, let me charge up my brush. What I'm going to do is I don't have to cover the inside of the shell or the bottom of the shell with PVA or with adhesive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work from the inside out. You see what's going on there? Just along the edge. Be very careful not to catch your brush on the outside here. You don't want to get any adhesive obviously on the outside of the walls. Once you have it to this stage, again, try and brush it out so you don't have a ton of adhesive around the edge. Then all you have to do is charge up your brush and put a big of glue right in the center. When you press this, it's going to spread out. Okay, now I'm going to line this up at the top and the bottom, and along the inner edge of the front boards. You need to feel this. All right, use your fingers, make sure that everything is nice and square, and that the edges are where you want them. Okay. That goes in. These go on. And then I'm actually going to flip this guy around. I'm going to put it on. Careful. On the pressing board. Make sure everything's aligned correctly and I don't have any pressing boards sticking out over the edges of the walls. That's a deadly mistake. Once everything feels right, excuse me, and the shell is centered under the screw, you can go ahead and bring it down. You want to give it a good hard press. Now, in normal situation, I would leave this in for about a half an hour to an hour. But since I'm trying to get this video done, I'm going to give this a hard press, and then I'm going to take it out, put it on the edge of my trusty portable work surface here. Then do the inner shell of the second box, and that will be then you'll see everything. Okay, so let me give this just a moment. And once the shells are adhered, then the final step is to do the inner linings, which in this case are going to be paper that match the end sheets of each book, and the center strip that goes down the spine, which is going to be the same book cloth. I'm just trying to fill dead air here, but it's not being very successful. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out now. Again, this is just for expediency. This is if you at all can avoid, taking the book out or the box out. You really want to do that. You want to leave it in for until basically the PVA is dry. What I have over here. I don't have a lot of room is what I don't have. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so here, again, is a workaround. I have a lithostone in here just to kind of keep everything together for the time being. I'm gonna put this over here. On this, oh, good. All right, let me grab the second box. Okay, so this is the outer shell adhered, just like we were talking about before. So now this process is a little bit different. I'm going to adhere. I'm going to apply my glue around the edge like I did before, but then I'm going to put my blob of glue here on the case. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, here we go. So, I constantly move away, kind of off and away from the side of the shell. Okay, so there's that. The requisite glob down here. And what happens is, as I said before, when you press this in the press, this adhesive is going to spread out and help give you good adhesion all the way around. So now what we're going to do is we're going to place this in its correct position, the outer shell, bring this over, make sure all's good. And this is a place where you have to be really careful. Very carefully lift this up and make sure that nothing moves. Because when you have a lot of PVA, it can get a little slippery and things can move around. Okay, also check, well, there we go, the edge, the spine edge of the case board. Feel to make sure that these line up correctly. Close the box one more time to make sure everything's where it should be. Add your packing. Now, if you're really worried, if you don't have boards that are pretty much, you know, a little bit smaller than the inside of the inner shell, you can also add, cut 3 or 4 layers of binder's board that are the correct size on the inside, and use them on the inside before you put the other packing pieces in. Okay. Again, check everything to make sure it's good. Ideally, I would have actually had this on this board, but this is a kind of a makeshift contrivance at the best of times. So there we go. Hold on. Let's do this. There we go. Again, center this way, center this way. And press. Oh, and, you know, that's not the end of the world, but don't do that. Okay. All right. So that's going to dry, and at that point, then the box is, you know, essentially assembled completely. All you have to do now is do the inner lining stuff, and you're good to go. In a regular box, you'd want to do a title also, you know, a label, or you could stamp the case before you get to this stage. So lots of options. I hope this makes sense. Feels a little scattered, but that's kind of the way of the world these days. So I'm going to leave that one in the press. This guy's going to dry, and then when, you know, that one comes out, this one will go in, and they'll be all done. So shortly I will be doing the last video, and that will be, you know, the clamshell video. So I hope you've gotten something out of this. Any questions, put them in the comments. Thank you again to everybody who's been watching and who's subscribing. And I will see you at some point in the near future. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.